So it's Sunday again, which means we're going to build a kit. I don't know which one we're going to build actually. So let's have a look inside the box. This one's that car, but I don't fancy attempting that today. What else have we got? Oh, I'd forgotten about you. Let's see if we can you hear that? Just because I quite enjoy this thing, I'm going to just give it a whirl. There we go. That's John Lennon Imagine. So we've got this here. I don't really know what that is. None of these have proper labels on, so it's a bit difficult to understand what they are. I mean, this one just says LED, but there's a microphone in there, a little electret microphone. I've got one of those Sonoff things. We could mess around with that today. We could play around with whatever that is. It's got a chip on it. It's an LM386 on there. So it's amplifying. So, that's going to be one of the infrared transmitters. And that's the receiver. Okay, so they're a pair. We'll pop those down there. I might get a bag for those. This is it. This is what we're going to do today. We're going to make this awful microphone. I think it's an FM transmitting microphone. So we'll give this a go, shall we? Right, so this is an FM transmitting microphone, I believe. It was pennies from AliExpress, I think. I'll try and find a link and put it in the description for you. Whoops. Got some instructions there. And that is it. We've got the big old dome. It's a little bit dented. That's where the cable's going to come out. There's a screw there. I'm not sure what that's for exactly. I imagine for connecting something, but you never know with these things. Let's just get this out as well. I mean, look at those tiny wires, and they really sort of expect it to come through that hole there. So we've got, that looks like a battery holder to me. We've got a spring here. In fact, should we have a look at the instructions? Oh, actually, that's quite nice. It seems that we've got our board outline here, which is there. Are they using the, I think they're using part of the PCB as part of the antenna there. So it might work without a wire attached. That's interesting. Okay, so it shows us where all the components go, which is good. Most of it's in Chinese. And we've got a circuit diagram here as well. Not that that's too helpful, because I don't really know what it's doing. What kind of components have we got here? If it's transmitting via FM, then how is it doing? Was it this chip here? What is that? No, that's just a transistor. Okay, I don't know how that works exactly. Someone will probably know better than I how FM transmitters work, but that's not what Lazy Sundays are about. They're about making things rather than necessarily figuring out how they work, or me showing you how they work. It's just going to be a bit of fun. So there are all our components. So I'm going to drink my coffee and then we'll get started. Okay, let's start off by figuring out what components we have. So we've got the circuit board here. We've got a couple of resistors, few resistors. We've got some 100 nanofarad capacitors. Got a little microphone there. A couple of contacts for the battery. And some more capacitors. What's that one? A 103. So that's a 10 nanofarad. There's a 10 there. I don't know, is that a picofarad capacitor perhaps? We've got a 5 picofarad. 47. I don't know what those are. I wonder if my meter can measure them. Let's find out. I should really learn the values. So I know that 104 is 100 nanofarad, so we can just check that. So it says 96. What about this one that says 5? I don't know if there are any kind of limits on. So let's try it. Just has a nanofarad range, okay. So it's 0.09, so 10 nanofarad for that. No, hang on, sorry, what was that? So it's 0.1 nanofarad. And what about this one that says 10? And that one's 0.1 nanofarad. So what's, maybe I just can't read this one. They appear to be pretty much the same. Give or take a couple of counts. This one's 47. I would have thought that 5 would be a picofarad one. And this would be 47. Well, I guess my meter just can't read them. That's fine. We've got some wire here, and we've got our switch. Oh, there's another capacitor there, not capacitor, resistor that I've missed. So let's start shoving stuff inside this board, shall we? We're going to need our diagram in order to do this. Right, so we'll start off with things that I can recognize that are small. And so let's go for our 47p is just there. So C3 is in here. So stretch those leads out a little bit. That goes across there. Oh, actually, there's a little diagram on the back, which is lucky because I've just put that in the wrong place. Do you know what? Let's put it on the right side of the board, shall we? So it'll make it much easier, won't it? Plus it will look cleaner, and it's probably the right way to do it. So we've got 10 here. Let's focus a little bit, shall we? Got 10 just here. And what else do we have? 104. In there. 103. Got my eyesight. It's very difficult to read that tiny text. I'll put that one just there. I've got one that says 24, but I don't see 24 on the board there. Oh yes I do, it's right next to it, 24 picofarad. I've been thinking about how this works, and I actually haven't got a clue how FM transmission works. So if anyone knows, then please let me know, or point me towards a link in the description. That'd be great. Links don't get approved immediately. I have to go in and approve them. So I will do that if you post a useful link for people to see. Just bend those out a little bit. There we go. What else do we have? We've got a 102. What's a 102? Uh, 102 is a 1 nanofarad capacitor, according to that, but I don't know if it really is. Don't know if it says on here. No, it doesn't. Okie doke. And then we've got a resistor that says 0. So is that like a really low value resistor? Let's find out. It's probably that one there that I don't recognize. And we're on the resistance measurement, so let's take a look. It's a low value resistor, so 0.6, 0.59. This won't be very accurate down to those levels, so we're probably looking at something that's pretty low value. So that one goes there, hopefully. Hopefully it is the right one. Oops, lazy. Bend those legs out a little bit so it stays in. And then we've got some other resistors here. Let's measure these. I refuse to learn the codes on resistors because I could get it wrong. So that's a 1.4, 1.5K. So that one just goes just there. Well, I think it does. Yep. 1.5K. And then these I think are 20K. Roughly. Yeah, that's about right. So let's pop those in. It's getting a bit fiddly now. Oh God, there's another one. So these will both be 20K. And then that, it says 51. Let's find out what it is. $52 ohms. Oops, daisy, put that over the capacitor there. All right, let's get these soldered up, I think, because otherwise that board's going to be jumping around quite a lot. Right, here we go. Let's just hold that board down a little bit, and oh, I should clean that off. It's a little bit dirty, this board. Could probably do with a bit of a clean, actually. Let's pop that. It's not really sitting very well. Let's push that in a little bit more. That's fine. And that also, that resistor is not sitting nicely. There we go. Well, it looks reasonable, that's fine. I'm going to cut some of these leads off, I think. If we do that as we go, then it will be less of a pain later on. Sort of fed that onto the soldering iron rather than the part there. That's a bit silly. Well, that looks terrible. See, this resistor's leg is all bent round out of shape there. Let's adjust that, shall we? Well, that's about as good as it's going to get. Okie doke. Well, we'll work with it. Are those meant to be connected? Yeah, they are. We'll just cut those legs off there. Sorry about that. Recording in 4K really just eats up all of my available memory card space in like this space of 14 minutes, I think is all I can fit on a 16 gig SD card. So let's get the rest of these soldered. Now a lot of these are connecting to this bit in the center, which I'm going to assume is a ground plane. There's nothing in that one. Well, that's where my transistor is going to go. I almost just put that on the lens, the soldering iron tip. Oops. Let's cut a few more leads on this, I think. It's literally the most annoying job is doing this. That's why I think I prefer SMD soldering, because you have no leads to cut off. I mean, that's not the only reason. There we go. It's looking a lot cleaner now, isn't it? There we go. Let's get these leads a little straighter. There we go, that should be easy to do, those last ones. Oops, that's not done very well. We'll do that again in a second. There we are. Now we've got a transistor somewhere. Ah, here it is. So where is that going and which orientation? Bend those out a little bit. There we go. I just need to solder those leads on, and then we've got the microphone to add in and sort out the battery part and the switch as well. There we go. We'll cut the rest of these leads off. Oops, there's a big blob of the solder there. I'm going to get that off. Now, let's pop this switch in, shall we? And we'll just solder that in. I don't think we need to put any wires on there at all. We will actually, we'll need a battery connection to one of these sides, I'm sure. So let's figure out how that's going to work. So we've got a terminal that we can pop in here. Is that the wrong way around? Perhaps it doesn't go in that side. Let's try this side. No, okay. One of these sides is a spring. So we've got, plus and minus. So I have a battery. So plus is that side which needs the nipple, and negative is this side. So let's pop that in there. I'm going to solder a wire to that actually, aren't I? Okay, so let's take that out. Does it actually say in the schematic where that's going? No, it doesn't, of course not. But I know that the positive goes to that side of the switch, and ground must go over there as well, but it will go through the microphone, I imagine. So the microphone needs to be wired to one of those terminals, and the minus needs to be wired to one of those terminals. Okay, so this is the negative, so let's get a little bit of wire. Let's just pull these apart. Well, I'm making a pig's ear of this, and we'll just twizzle, technical term, twizzle that around. And then we'll solder it, I think. I don't know how I'm going to hold that. Not very well, probably. There we go. I didn't think that was actually going to work out as well as it did. So that is our negative wire. Let's trim a little bit more off there. Well, let's just cut it. There we are. And we'll feed that through. No, that's the positive side. So the negative side goes in there. That's the negative side for our battery, and that is the negative cable. Now we've got the positive as well, and that's going to go in here. I don't really see how that fits. Oh, it does fit. You just need to force it. But we're going to need a wire coming off that one as well, so let's solder a wire to the end there. This time I'm not going to strip any more wire off, I don't think. I think we'll leave it as is. That will do. Ouch, that's very hot still. And we'll just feed that through that way, hopefully. How on earth is that meant to go in? Do I just need to encourage it a bit? I think I do. Be encouraged. Well, that is very... There we go. That appears to be in enough. Let's try it out. Right, where's my multimeter? Let's check that we have a connection. So we have our positive wire here and our negative here. And yeah, I'm reading 1.6 volts, so that is fine. Okay, so positive side, which is that side, needs to go to that connection there, and then negative goes over here, and then one of the negative will go to the microphone, and then the microphone will connect to somewhere on there, I would imagine. We'll figure it out. Right, we're back. I just realized I had a 128 gig SD card that was in my audio player that I made recently. So I've stolen that, formatted it, and we're using that now. So it tells me I've got 29 minutes available. Not very long, is it? I'm guessing it's just limited to 29 minutes or 30 minutes. So I've just had a thought about how this is going to go together. First off, I'm going to solder those connections on, but the battery appears to go in like that, and it sticks up inside the head there, which is odd. But the microphone will go in the end there. So the microphone sort of slots in just like that, it seems. So that's kind of cool. I like that. So we've got to figure out how we're going to do that. So we have one wire left. So how does that work exactly? We need to have two connections from that, and the circuit board's going to go in the base here. So we've got the negative will go to one of the negatives here. These instructions not very helpful. So I'm just going to solder one of these on now. So someone made a bit of a mistake there, and well, that was me. I'm the only one here. So it turns out I'd soldered the negative to one of these terminals, which I didn't want to do. I wanted to solder the positive onto that one there. So got myself a bit mixed up, and I worked out, after looking at this for ages and trying to figure out where the ground line went, the ground goes over here. So we've got R4 going to ground. You can see on the schematic on the back, we've got C3, R4 and C7 going to ground, as well as the microphone going to ground. And because there's not, upside down, because there doesn't seem to be a hole to put the ground on, so I've had to find R4, C3 and C7, and they all terminate here. So that's where I've popped the ground line. And now I just need to figure out how I'm going to attach this microphone, because I only have one yellow wire left. So I'm going to have to use another bit of wire. I don't know whether I was meant to have more or not. But so one of these sides is negative. I assume electret microphones aren't either way. I'm assuming there's a polarity there. I'm going to do a quick Google and figure that out. And then I'm going to find another bit of wire to put onto the negative side, which I'll pin on over here again, I think. So positives going here. Bit confusing, but that's fine. I'll just go and grab some wire. Panic over, I dropped it on the floor, so there is a wire for it, but I still don't know what the pinout for this is. So where's my phone? I'll go on that and have a look. So it turns out that there is a small line on there that looks like a minus symbol, but actually the terminals, well, there's a positive terminal and a negative, so they are polarized, but the negative is connected to the case. So I can use my multimeter to do a little continuity test on that and figure it out. Except it's all wrapped up around my microphone. There we go. So negative should be this one here. So if we just touch that, oops. Yeah, there we go. So that is the negative terminal. So we need to solder a negative wire. We'll just use one of these and we'll solder it to the negative section. Well, that looks really ugly. Let's flow a little bit more solder on there. That will do. It's sort of a little bit rubbishy, but doesn't matter. And then the positive goes to this one here, so we can solder that straight on. And then we're almost done, actually. It's just a bit of... let's get rid of this piece of paper. It's sort of getting in the way. Then it's just building the mechanical section. All right, let's flow some more solder on there first, shall we? There we are. And then that needs to go to negative, which can be one of these ones here. There we are. That is almost done. So let's get it screwed into our box, shall we? And then oh, do you know what I've forgotten to do? I've forgotten to attach the aerial. Let's do that then. I'm an idiot. We're going to attach the aerial because I don't want it to not work and then have to take it apart again once I've popped the battery in and everything. So let's do that now. So the aerial goes there. Okay. And we've got some wire here, so let's do that now. Okay. Now we'll feed that wire through. Oh my God, I'm going to kill magnetism. I really hate you. Right. God, I'm really making a meal out of this, aren't I? This is just a simple little microphone and I can't do it. There we go. don't think I'm going to cut much out of this today, so it's going to be a super long video. So I hope you guys don't mind that. Right. So that will slot in like that. Okay. And then we've got an on and off sticker. Let's put that on. Although honestly, I don't know which way is on and which way is off, but we'll just do it as if you were looking at the, holding the microphone, you would expect on to be up and off to be down. So let's turn it off. We're also going to pop a battery in and make sure nothing bad happens. And then we just screw the end on. Now what is this screw for? I don't know what that one's for. I didn't see a hole for it anywhere, so I'm going to assume we don't need it. Now, I'm going to go and find myself an FM radio and see if this is working. Right. So I've got a radio here. This is my lovely Roberts R757. You probably can't see that. There you go. The Roberts R757. This is one that I modded with a line input. I did that ages ago, but so that I could have it as a useful thing when FM eventually gets shut off. So let's turn the radio on. Oh, actually, let's turn the microphone on as well, and then we'll listen for a dead spot. Oh, it said it was around 100, didn't it? So let's look for that. Well, there's a dead spot. That's on around 102. 1, 1, 1. Ooh. Ooh. I've just put I'm wearing my microphone, so it's getting a bit weird. It works, so I'm quite happy with that. Actually, it doesn't sound great, but I am right next to the radio. Okay, well, I think that confirms it. It does work. So. Yeah, that's good for the amount of money I spent on that, actually, and sort of useful. So we can turn that off. Yeah, I mean, I could put my radio somewhere in the garden, let's say, and one of my mates wants to give me a shout. They can use this, I guess. I wonder what the range is like on this. I'm not bothered enough to go and test it, obviously, but it would be a bit of fun. All right, well. This has been a long video, so next time I think I'll try and shorten it a little bit, just so it makes my time, so it saves a bit of my time rather. All right, well, thanks a lot for watching. Another lazy Sunday.